Good morning, boys and girls, and welcome back to writing composition class. So we are still in week 5. Today is Thursday, and we are getting into the last stages of the writing process. So make sure that you have a pencil ready and a highlighter, and that you are ready to begin. Today we will discuss the importance of a conclusion, wrap up your essay, identify conclusion elements in my example. So just like we do for every other paragraph in the essay, we're going to do some identifying, and that's why I asked you to get some highlighters. That way, if you have your conclusion ready, you can also do the same thing that I'm doing. Okay. So let's begin by stating our objective. Get ready. Students will be able to understand how to write a strong conclusion. Okay, so let's recap on what a conclusion should do. Your conclusion should make your readers glad that they read your paper. You want the person reading your paper to kind of understand exactly what it was your point was, and you want them to feel like they learned something after they read your paper. You don't want to just state the essential idea statement again and say, I hope others agree with me. That's not an effective conclusion. When you are writing your conclusion, you want to kind of make your point one more time, and then you want to talk about the future of your topic. You also want to add in that one last personal connection to the topic, relating back to yourself or to the example that you gave. That way you're making those connections between the reasons and the conclusion. Your conclusion should give your reader something to take away that will help them see things differently or appreciate your topic in personal ways. So if you said something like, let me bring up a different topic that we've already done, when you were talking about telling the truth. So maybe for your topic, you decided that one of your reasons would be telling the truth is important because it shows integrity. So maybe at the end of your paper, you would want to say something like, as you can see, these are some reasons why telling the truth is important to me, to show integrity. I believe showing integrity is something that everyone should do, and I hope one day more people are able to think the same way. So you kind of add in one more sentence between restating the central idea and then ending on a hope. You want to have one more sentence in between that. So if your conclusion is like 3 sentences, that's okay. One of those sentences is you're restating the central idea or prompt, and then you're making a personal connection. Then the 3rd sentence is ending on a hope. So if you can have those 3 sentences in your conclusion, that's good, because I have been seeing some students with only 1 sentence or 2 sentences, but it needs to be at least 3. You cannot have a paragraph that only has 2 sentences. It needs to be between 3 to 5 sentences long. Okay? And the reader should feel informed as if they learned something about you or they learned something from you. So if you are talking about, so for the topic, we're talking about computers, right? There's some things about computers that maybe older people don't know about, and maybe you're informing them with your essay by talking about it. Like I mentioned in the video earlier in the week, where a student was telling me about a software on the computer that I didn't know about that helps you play online games. So after that student told me about that, I was informed of something, and that's what you want to do in your essay. You want to inform them of something. If it's not informing them about a new technology or something new, you can be informing them about a story from your life. That's still informing somebody. You're informing them about something that happened to you. Okay, now while you're writing your conclusion, make sure that you're looking at the expository writing conclusion don'ts and do's. You want to make sure that you are using this while you are writing your conclusion, because I can tell that some students are not using this because some students are doing the well, I hope you liked my essay, see you later, bye, or I hope you enjoyed my reasons and that you agree with me too. That's not how we write. You cannot directly talk to the reader You want to wrap up your essay, first of all, by using a great transition. Here's some example of some of them. Now you know why because of these reasons, as you can see, in conclusion, and then you have all the transition words that we have on our transition chart and on the updated transition chart. You want to restate your subject and reasons. You don't want to just say, because of these reasons, using a computer is limited. You want to say the reasons again. You want to mention those specific reasons one last time. And then you want to end on the future of your subject, which is talking about the hope, wish, dream, or wonder. And you want to leave your reader with a great feeling about reading your essay. And here's the model essay that you can look at to help you while you're writing your essay. Now, if at this point right now, while you're watching this video, you do not have your conclusion, I would suggest you pause the video right now, have this chart up, the expository writing conclusion chart, have that up, and take about 5 minutes, time yourself, take about 5 to 7 minutes to draft out a conclusion. It doesn't have to be perfect, but it needs to have those things that are on this chart. So pause the video right now, time yourself between 5 to 7 minutes, and draft out your conclusion. And then you can come back and we can do the identifying part with the highlighters. Okay, so before we start identifying in the conclusion, you want to make sure that you are meeting these checklists. You want to have your transitional word. You want to make the personal connection to the topic, which is telling how the author feels about the topic. That's how you make your personal connection. You want to restate your central idea or the prompt. And then you want to end on a hope, wish, dream, or wonder, or the future of your topic. So in this week's essay, I decided to talk about the future of my topic. That way you can see what it looks like when we wrap up our conclusion talking about the future. So that's what I did for my essay. And if you were able to draft out your essay a little while ago, if you were able to draft out your conclusion a little while ago when I told you to pause, then you are ready to move on to the next phase where we're identifying the checklist elements in our conclusion. Okay, so here is my conclusion, and I'm going to go ahead and read it to you, and I'm going to pause every time I am going to highlight something that's on the checklist. Okay, as you can see, computers can be helpful, yet limited when it comes to research. Alright, so I'm going to go ahead and highlight my transitional phrase. Do you see it? It is right here. As you can see, computers can be helpful, yet that's a transitional word right there. When we use the word yet, it's showing contrast. So if you remember when, I think it was on Tuesday's video, where I talked about how we are showing the good stuff about computers, but also showing the not so good stuff. So we're kind of comparing and contrasting. When you use the word yet, or like the word that I used yesterday, although, oh no, it was however, those are transitional words that show contrast. So as you can see, computers can be helpful, yet limited when it comes to research. This word yet is also known as a certain type of word that we use when we're talking about compound sentences. What kind of word is yet? It's a fanboys. That is how you use a fanboys. When you're talking about how something is good, but you're also talking about how something is not so good. So that was my transitional phrase. I made that's on the checklist, so I can check that off. And then I restated the prompt when I said computers can be helpful, yet limited when it comes to research. And that's my topic. That's the topic that I chose. I'm going to go ahead and highlight that because I'm going to use green because that's what I used before. Computers can be helpful, yet limited when it comes to research. That's my topic. So I have my transition. and my restate essential idea statement. Okay? Maybe one day in the future, the people in charge of how information is found online will make research easier and more accurate for people to find what they are looking for. And this is the part where I end on a hope, wish, dream, or wonder. So I'm actually ending on the future of my topic, and that's okay. It still falls under the hope, wish, dream, or wonder. So I have my transition word, I restated my central idea, and I ended on a hope. I wanted to talk about the future of my topic, and that's why I said maybe one day in the future, the people in charge of how information is found, because that's my topic, looking for information, research, is found online will make research easier and more accurate for people to find what they are looking for, because that's what my topic's about. I'm talking about researching online and how even though sometimes it's helpful, it does not give me the accurate results every time. So that's why I'm talking about, hopefully in the future they fix this problem. So I'm talking about, solutions at the end of my essay. I want them to make it better in the future, and hopefully they will, right? So now, this is my answer the prompt again. I just realized I keep forgetting to put my A at the top. So I have my answering the prompt, reason 1, explain 1, reason 2, explain 2, answer the prompt again. So now I have all the things that I'm looking for in my checklist for my conclusion, for my body paragraphs, and for my introduction. So if you do not have your conclusion already finished, that's okay. You can reach out to me and we can talk about the conclusion, or maybe you're still working on your body paragraphs. If you're still working on your body paragraphs, I highly suggest you to pull up my essay, and that way you can look at it and kind of put it side by side with yours, so that way you can see what it looks like when we're using a topic like this and how the body paragraphs should look. I know that this topic this week is kind of a little bit more challenging than usual because they're kind of asking us to compare and contrast, and we've never really done that before. But when you are writing this way, you want to choose one topic, okay? So if you're going to talk about gaming online, you've got to think of 2 ways that there are limitations. Maybe the glitching, maybe the trolls, and maybe the server issues. If you're talking about streaming YouTube videos, some issues that you could talk about with that would be, having advertisements every 5 minutes. Another thing you could talk about are like when the video takes too long to load or it's not loading at all. So when you are choosing your topic, if you haven't chosen one yet, make sure you choose one topic and then you think of 2 moments where that thing was difficult or showed a limitation regarding when you were using the internet or a computer. And I want you to think of a computer not as just a laptop. You can think of it as a tablet, a phone, or a gaming console, because all of those things have small computers in them. They're basically computers because you can get online while you're using them. So for homework, I want you to develop your conclusion, and then I want you to revise for sensory details, personal connections, and having a strong ending. So add in those details, make sure you are using real life examples from your own life, and then you're on your way to a strong essay. If you have questions, reach out to me, and I will talk to you guys